Hey guys, want to talk about crypto a little bit and where crypto sits. Is crypto digital gold or is crypto a payment mechanism? If it's gold, where does it sit? Is it conservative? Is it volatile? If it's volatile, then it's not a digital gold now, is it? So I want to talk about who am I? I'm the CEO of Aruka. Aruka is a smart payment ring that allows you tap to pay. Again, since we're payments, we're a fintech app, or rather a banking app, we allow customers both sides of the fence. So that means you can pay with fiat, you can top up these rings with normal bank transfers, with cards, okay, in across 200 countries. So we're actively in 200 countries at the moment. No crazy adverts yet, because again, we're just starting. We're 1 year old. So it's crazy amount of journey we've been on. But we've got 200 customers across 200 countries, which is huge. But what that means as well then is that we have a diverse set of customers that we talk with, okay? Customers who want banking, want to work with banks, and customers who want to work with crypto. So we have both, right? And that brings me then to this topic around Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, is it digital gold, right? And there's always a lot of argument on this, especially people who actually are traditionalists, right, in terms of gold. And they think that gold is secure, gold is scarce, and gold is tangible. You can touch it, unlike crypto. So I'm going to start by attacking gold in a bad way, but in a good way, right, as well. Is that gold? Yeah, gold is tangible. Gold has been around for 2,600 years, which I think is very good. But on the other hand, now becomes, how scarce really is gold. Okay, gold right now I think is produced at 1%, 1.5%, discovery in terms of how much is mined from the earth. It's scarce because you get about 1% production per annum. Sorry about the sound there. And 1% per annum, which is okay, which makes it a scarce mineral resource. But here's the point: it's scarce, but that doesn't mean that it should be at that price. I mean, currently it's quoting it's going to hit $4,000 very soon. Okay, and then the question now becomes, okay, how important is it? Is it really? Should it be that? Right? People argue and say gold is really good for industrial, work. God, the sun's killing me. So gold is coming in. Gold is good for industrial work. That you can see it. You can use it for computers. You can use it for jewelry. Actually, we have a gold ring as well that you could use, which is very good. That's true. But so is silver. But we all know how expensive gold and silver is, right? Gold is still high up there. How about steel? Steel is used in industry a lot. Ceramics is used a lot more than gold. But guess what? The justification is just not there. So that means there's a perceived value of some that's not tangible around gold. Gold is seen to be more valuable. It's seen to be much more, malleable, interchangeable. Okay, in fact, it's actually a store of value for most banks. So because of that perceived value, which is not tangible, funny enough, gold is expensive. But if you look at a typical portfolio, again, everything I'm saying here is not financial advice, but a typical portfolio, right? If you want a very, very risky portfolio, usually people go 60-40 split. That means 60% of the portfolio being a volatile stock that gives more return but is more risky. And then on the other hand, you have more conservative approach. But if you look at where gold sits, gold is conservative in the sense that, okay, if you want to make sure you don't have risk, I'll call it risk off. So you want to switch off your risk and make it as conservative as possible. That means low returns. Then you go for gold. You go for bonds, like government bonds, treasuries, gilts, every bond possible. And you can always get those. Just go to your broker and just search. You can get access to these things. Or come to us as well, right? On our fintech, on our app. We're fintech, so we can direct you in the right resource that we don't work with 200 banks. So there is no commission in this thing other than our app. Our app is what we sell. But again, if you look at that, so you've got gold on one hand, you've got government bonds, which are risky. They're not risky. And then you have the bonds and equities, especially, which are very risky. And within that, you can have an equity, or the equity means a share in a company, all right? So if you buy a share in Amazon, it's seen as risky, believe it or not. If you buy a share in Apple, it's seen as risky. You can go buy a share then in an oil factory in, Uganda. Then that's risky as well. So it depends on the markets that you buy it at. But the point I'm trying to make there is the fact that you can buy a risky asset. Okay, and then that becomes that you're now on the risky side of things. Where does Bitcoin sit if Bitcoin is digital gold? This is what I mean. As it sits, we all know that Bitcoin is a risky asset, okay? And because of the volatility, it goes up and down a lot, okay? It drops up to 30%. It's dropped up to 30% the last few years, at least 200 times. That's how much is risky it is. Right? So in my opinion, right, Bitcoin should not be classed as any of those. That's it. I mean, it could be as drastic as you want to call it, because I've just called stocks, right? And stocks, in my opinion, are liquid in the sense that you can trade them, you can sell them easily, but you still can't interchange them. So it's not money, it's not currency. It's never been currency. Okay, so you can't put Bitcoin in that basket. Okay, if you want to compare Bitcoin to a stock in a volatile market or an emerging market, in Brazil, Africa, any of those countries, okay, then you get a lot of interest on that as well. But guess what? It's not. So I'm just going to move here away from this song. Song's killing me today. There you go. It's much better. So, because I want to focus on you guys. So here's the point. You could do that, right? And you know what? It's still not risky, right? It's already seen as very risky. And Bitcoin will be more risky, right? For that. Now compare that then to a bond, right? And you call it gold, right? Compare it to gold. Gold is not as risky. Gold is simply conservative as well. And you can't put Bitcoin there, no matter how conservative it is, right? It's not, right? And people are going to argue, oh, is it a currency or not? It's going to be a currency. So here's the point. Gold has failed as a currency. Gold is no longer a currency. It's a store of value. If you get stranded now, you have a bar of gold. And once you hand over that gold, it's gone. Like you can't split gold in bits and pieces. In fact, if you hand that gold over to someone, the person has to go check if it's real or not before they accept the gold. Guys, check out this argument with, I think there was an argument or debate with CZ and Peter Schiff. Schiff is a proper gold guy as well. And CZ from Binance offered a gold bar to Peter, who's been trading gold all his life. And he freaked out. He was like, well, I need to check if it's legit or not. And in fact, it doesn't look real. It turns out the gold was real, right? So that shows the issue around gold being currency. Gold was currency. It failed. That's why it's no longer currency. You can argue as much as you want to in terms of why it failed, but it failed because it's no longer currency. So now it's being used as a store of value. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is new in the sense that it is just a store of value. It's not just a store of value, sorry. It's also a currency. Yeah, and before you get at me, there are a lot of apps out there that actually allows you to use Bitcoin. Okay, let's say I'm going to plug this as well. We allow you to use your crypto at the moment. We're definitely going to allow you to use your Bitcoin very soon. We're working on that actively. There's a few villages as well. I think they call them Bitcoin Village. Just search them. Search Bitcoin Village. And all they do is just accept Bitcoin. A lot. In fact, one is called Bitcoin Village X. We're working with them. Bitcoin Village X. Check them out. Very nice. So with this is what everything there is Bitcoin, right? So that would mean that you can actually make your payment in Bitcoin, accept payment in Bitcoin, pay your gardener in Bitcoin, all within that village, right? There's a few as well. I think if there's anyone here from South Africa, there's a few companies as well that are in South Africa, a few towns. All they do is Bitcoin. So it's growing, guys, as quick as you can think of. It's growing. And governments know it's growing. That's why you see governments going ahead and actually buying Bitcoin. There's a reason why Bitcoin is dropping in value. People don't understand why. It's dropping in value because people are buying. And guess what? If BlackRock is going to buy an asset, guess what's going to happen with the asset? It's going to go down, right? I'm not trying to accuse anyone here, but if the USA are going to buy an asset, that asset is going to go down. Look at the history of anything they do. If the US are going in to say, okay, we are going to go to Iraq, oil price is going to go down yeah, before they go in. And they'll make sure it happens. If they don't make sure it happens, the hedge funds will make sure it happens. The banks will make sure it happens because they already trade these things. So if everybody knows, for instance, that BlackRock or the US governments are stacking Bitcoins, what will happen is they're going to do everything possible to drive down the price of Bitcoin, which already we see strategy. What's your master? Michael Saylor is crying at the moment and suffering because of this, right? And no matter what he says, look at his company value is going down. That's because the pressure is on him to drive down the price. They're driving down the price of Bitcoin so they can use it, right? And so they can actually buy it. No one wants to buy in Bitcoin when it's high. You don't want to. How much more do you think governments are going to want to do that? Yeah. So that's it. I mean, the sun's down, thank goodness. But there you go. So I want to summarize with that to stop to say, okay, people argue about portfolio allocation is basically where you put your money. Okay, people who argue about where to put money, what to invest in. My opinion is I think Bitcoin is very different. I'll put Bitcoin the same level as any other currency actually, or better. I'll put Bitcoin at the same level as US dollar. Would you hold US dollar cash? Yes, a certain percentage of your portfolio should be US dollar cash, right? I mean, what's your man's name? Warren Buffett was against, gold as much as possible. But look, and he's been against cash. But his portfolio split the last time I looked at it had 10% on cash, just holding it there just in case. That's the same thing Bitcoin should be for you. In my opinion, again, no financial advice. I think Bitcoin should be similar to cash, where you hold it because eventually it's going to be a currency. Question is when, where it is. And look around, you see institutions already doing this. Okay. So that's it for now. I'm going to stop for now without rambling too much. Join us, www.uruka.com. So again, you can just order your ring, tap to pay. We work with at least 250 banks at the moment, and we're counting. We're adding more people. We work with Binance, we work with Coinbase, we're working with Strike. So if there's any crypto guy there as well, we're working with Strike. And I'll work with many banks as possible as well. So you just join, and then you can connect your banks to the ring and just go. Okay. In the next one. Bye.